And of course, we're all waiting to find out when a federal election might be called and what exactly Anthony Albanese will be able to sell us as his achievements this term.
Won't be long enough. We'll need an 8-week campaign for that.
Yeah, right. 8 weeks of just radio silence. He had this to say to our Andrew Clennell today. Take a listen.
What I'm confident of is that I lead a government that's focused, that's orderly, that has seen Australia through some very difficult economic times, that we are heading in the right direction, and that we have an agenda to build on that in our second term.
We are heading in the right direction, or as Julia Gillard once said, moving forward. And that is despite Australia having the biggest fall in disposable income across the OECD, a per capita recession that's lasted 7 quarters, and polling during the week, this polling here, showing that 46% of people are expecting their real wages to go backwards this year, and 50% are expecting inflation to get worse. So, Caroline, it's not hard to see them moving forward that this government reckons they're doing.
They're moving in the right direction, if by that direction he means straight out of the lodge and into his Copacabana coastal property that he set up, his nice little retirement home. No, I mean, this is clearly fantasy, more fantasy from Albanese and the Labor government. You know, he was asked today about the $275 power bill cut that he promised us at the last election, and all he could say is to blame it on the Russia-Ukraine war, which had already started when he made that promise. It was months into that. So look, he lives in a fantasy world, and here he is pushing more of his BS.
I think, to be fair, you have to. There's a lag between what this sort of economy does, or what the headline numbers do, and how people experience it and how people feel it. So I think, yes, there are a lot of people who are right up against the wall, and a lot of people who have eaten into their savings are starting to think, well, there's no more fat on the bone. I need relief now or I'm screwed. But what he is saying, and he is by the numbers, he is absolutely right, is that yes, things got really, really bad, and yes, they are still bad, and people might even be feeling they're as bad as it gets because they haven't got, say, interest rate relief yet. But inflation numbers are coming down, and there will not be any further interest rate rises, and the next move we see,
bonus.
Will be a cut.
The inflation numbers are coming down, but there are other things involved in that, like, you know, subsidising power bills, which don't actually affect the price of the product. They just affect the headline inflation figure.
That's right.
So yes, the number has come down, but it's creative accounting that contributes to that.
But the latest inflation figure actually went in the other direction. So the headline inflation actually rose, but the mean inflation, which is what the RBA looks at, which scrapes out, which wipes out the power bill rise, because you're absolutely right, it increases, they've dropped the price but not the cost, that has actually come down. So that is why there is hope for a rate cut, you know, in the next few months, because even though the headline rate has gone up, the mean rate, which is what Michelle Bullock and the RBA are looking at, has gone down.
Keep in mind as well that Michelle Bullock said high government spending was one of the things that contributed to all of that.